Everyone, this is Ajahn Chon Bunnak here. Welcome back to EE465 Sustainable Development provided by the Faculty of Economics, Thammasat University BE program. So in this clip, we are going to talk about SDGs in the policy context of Thailand. So SDG is implemented at all levels, from the global to the national and even to the local level. Let's see, let's have an overview of which organizations are involved in the process of the SDG implementation. As I mentioned, SDGs involve many levels of governance. So we might be able to say that it's the multi-level governance. So there is a national level and local level, which we will talk about soon. But at the international and regional level, we have the United Nations as like the major player pushing forward sustainable development goals through several mechanisms. So at the global level, they have something they call High Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development. This is the forum for sustainable development. It says high level because this is the ministerial level forum. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has to join in this forum. It is held every July annually, and in each event they will ask the country to voluntarily presenting their progress of the nations and what they have done, the lesson learned. So this is the forum that each country kind of have like peer pressure on each other. If you at this point after 10 years, if you haven't presenting the VNR, the voluntary national review, then you should do something about it. So far, in 193 countries, there are, I think if I remember correctly, there are 4 countries that haven't presenting haven't presented the VNR, and one of them is the United States. The other one is Myanmar, next to our country. So yeah, there must be something wrong about them. Okay, and then every 4 years there will be the SDG summit, and this will be held in the UN General Assembly, the UNGA, in September. So the first SDG summit was in 2019, and the last one is in the 2023. The next one, which will be the last one for the SDG, is in 2027. At the regional level, the UN has regional commissions. So the ones directly related to us is the UNSCAP, the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. So from what you see here, it's not only the UN system that supports sustainable development goals or plays some role in sustainable development goals, but there are other global and regional organizations that play certain roles related to sustainable development as well, like OECD and G7 and the clubs of developed countries. Now they are playing active role in proposing and supporting the SDGs. There are BRICS, the emerging big economies, and now expanding. More and more countries are joining BRICS. There are another cluster of countries that becoming more influential economically, and perhaps in the future also on sustainable development goals. And then we have the G77. This is a major group. This is the group of developing countries that pushing agendas that is at the advantage for the developing countries, and collectively negotiate the ones that are kind of harmful to developing countries. And we also have like the networks of major groups and other stakeholders at the global level. This is like the CSO, NGO networks that deals or negotiate with countries. At the regional level, there are other regional organizations like the European Union, ASEAN, African Union, Arab League, for example. These are the regional organizations, and most of them have like integrated SDGs into their plan and visions. So I can say that SDG is now everywhere, every level, and almost all international organization has to think about the SDGs now. Within the UN system, there are so many organizations, but I can say to you that all units of the SDG has to think all units of the UN has to think about the SDGs. The key part of the UN that focus on the SDG is the ECOSOC, Economic and Social Council, and ECOSOC also take care of the functional commission and regional commissions. So so they are directly related to the SDGs. UNDESA, which is a part of Secretariat team of the UN, is also responsible for the SDG. Actually, UNDESA is the Secretariat for the Economic and Social Affairs. Actually, UNDESA is the Secretariat for the ECOSOC. So if you think about who is taking care of the SDGs, it's actually UNDESA. And UNDESA support the ECOSOC to run the SDG through the UN system, through the regional commissions here, through the specialized agencies, the ILO, FAO, UNESCO, WHO, World Bank Group, IMF, and through the programs and funds like UNDP, UNCTAD, UNFPA, UNICEF, UN Women, and everything. So, so if we think about the UN system, the ones in the blue rectangle are like the major players pushing forward the SDGs. I mean, the other parts of the UN also have to take SDG into account when they implement things, like World Trade Organization, for example, or even International Atomic Energy Agency. They have to think about the SDG as well. So we can say for certain that SDG is integrated into all parts of the UN. And if you are asked which organization that is the main responsible is the main responsible actor in the UN, you can say that it's actually UNDESA, and UNDESA work through ECOSOC and work with other programs and fund and specialized agency to push forward SDGs relevant to them. Okay. In Thailand, we have it's been 10 years and we have more and more organizations coming in the field and help implementing the SDGs. Even though it's not yet popularized, but from the position I'm standing right now, which is in the field of people who implementing SDGs, I can say that more and more people are on board. In Thailand, we work closely with the international organizations. The UN country team, which means all the UN agencies in Thailand, are supporting Thailand to achieve the SDGs. The EU, the European Union, also supporting other parts of the country. For example, the local and the civil society. We have international NGOs like the WWF or the Greenpeace. We have international development agency like of the Germany, of Japan, Korea, Norway, coming to Thailand and promoting sustainable development goals. We have networks of private sector. The one that is the most active would be the Global Compact Network Thailand, and actually the Golotor, the um, I just don't recall the English name of กลตนะ it's คณะกรรมการกำกับหลักทรัพย์และตลาดหลักทรัพย์นะครับ the ones who take care of the Thai investment market, the stock exchange market. They are the ones who play important role in promoting the integration of SDGs into the listed companies. So they are quite active. Global Compact is very active on the SDGs. In academic world, I can say for certain that SDG Move is um, one of the leading organizations that try to work with SDGs. Right now, we have SDSN Thailand, Sustainable Development Solutions Network Thailand, and we have Thaipat Institute that works with private sector. We have SUDSESC, SUDSESC, uh, from NIDA. If you're interested in sustainable development and link this to um, sovereignty economy philosophy, you have to go to NIDA. And at Mahidol University, they have ASEAN Center for Sustainable Development Studies and Dialogue, ACSDSD. We have Chulalongkorn, we have NASDA, we have AIT, we have HVP that also move things forward together. And then we have the network of civil society organizations, issue-based, area-based, um, and we have youth groups and youth network that work on SDGs as well. So Thai government work with the UN systematically. They have the collaboration framework, sustainable development, and this is a framework. I don't have the English version, but the idea is that um, there will be like the three-party committee at the top. So this includes Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the National Economic and Social Development Council, and the UN Residence Coordinator Office. And then other government agencies and other partners can be invited into the meeting as an observer if necessary. They have a meeting once a year. And then there is the UNCT, the UN country team that works with the youth committee of SDGs. I haven't seen them. Maybe they have works on something, but I haven't been engaged with them. So there are three main focus of this committee. The first one is to transform Thailand economy to be more inclusive and green, and also resilient to disasters, low carbon and sustainable. Develop human capital that is necessary for social development, inclusive social development, um, and improve human capital through um, strengthening the institutional mechanism, partnerships, and people empowerment. And the third one is the participation of vulnerable groups and a group that is risks to be left behind, and make sure that they receive benefit from development without any discrimination. Okay, so this is like how Thai government collaborate with the UN. Actually, Thai government is actually active at the global level. We have been involving with the UN Working Group for SDGs during 2013 and 2014. We were one of 193 countries that endorsed and committed to the 2030 agenda. Thailand, in collaboration with UNESCAP, has advocated and integrating and supporting the implementation of SDGs in the ASEAN region. And we also launched the campaign called the campaign called Sovereignty Economy Philosophy for Sustainable Development Goals. We will talk about that a little bit more. But we were actually active at the global level, and we have presented two voluntary reviews in 2017 and 2021. And along the way, we have our VNR as well, but we just don't present at the UN. But we have the process to review our country's progress regularly. And this year in 2025, we are going to submit the VNR and presenting to the UN as well. I will be helping the Ministry of Foreign Affairs writing the VNR. Okay. Not only activeness at the international level, nah. I mean, if we were active and publicize what we have done more and more in Thailand, I will be very glad. But we have done that too little. Nah. We need more of that. But not only that, we also integrate. We I mean, Thai government also integrated SDGs into constitutions. Nah. Article 65. The government shall like shall have like the national strategy as the country's sustainable development goals. So this is like this is the part where I mean most of the people many people claim that we integrated sustainable development goals into our constitution, and it is integrated into all plans of the country. The national strategy is linked with SDGs. The master plan for implementing the national strategies, 23 of them, also linked with the SDGs. The National Economic and Social Development Plan, number 13, also linked with SDGs. Well, linked or mapped with SDGs, but whether, and I also believe that they have SDGs in mind when they drafted uh, the plan. But as you can see that the distribution of the goals related, I mean, the distribution of the 13 strategies of the development plan are not equally distributed throughout the 17 goals. I mean, the National Economic and Social Development Plan is still focused on the economy, but with some with a decent proportion tackling social and environmental issues. But as you can see, uh, they are linked, they are mapped, but they might not be directly mapped or related. So yeah, they are mapped, but as the person who work on SDGs, I would say it could be more integrated into the plan. But of course, I understand that the plan is actually has to go through a political process, so we can't get what we want, everything. So this is what we get. We also have the implementation mechanism at the policy level, organization level, area-based level. I'm not going to talk about this in detail that much because we believe that this year, 2025, there's going to be a reform of the National Committee on Sustainable Development. Of course, we do have Thailand SDG roadmap introduced by the NESDC Sapapat, and approved by the National Committee on Sustainable Development in 2019. There are 6 strategies for the roadmap, which means that every organization that are assigned to work on any SDG has to think about these 6 issues. First is about awareness raising. Number 2 is policy coherence. Number 3 is domestic mechanism. Number 4 is implementation and projects. Number 5 is partnership. And number 6 is monitoring and evaluation. So they need to think about how to raise awareness of people in their organization and among their partners. And when they work, the policy has to be aligned with the SDGs. They have to work in accordance with the domestic mechanism, which we have National Committee on Sustainable Development as the core function with its sub 4 committees. And then when you implement the project, it has to be linked with the 3 level of plans and the SDGs. you have to involve partners from other sectors, and you have to submit your evaluation and your progress through the evaluation of, I mean, the electronic. You have to submit your progress through the EMENSER, the electronic monitoring and evaluation of national strategies and country reform. Okay, so the CSD, National Committee on Sustainable Development, actually it was established in 2012 during Yingluck Shinawatra administration, because she went to Rio Plus 20 conference, and she wanted to move things forward. So so we had the CSD in our country, but because of the political turmoil and then the coup, CSD never launched. And then after General Prayut Chan-o-cha went to the UN and ratified the 2030 agenda, he revived the CSD and make it to be specific for the SDGs, and he shared the committee. The secretary is the NESDB and the ONEP, the Office for National and Environment, the Office for Natural Resource and Environmental Policy and Planning, and there are 4 subcommittees. So that was 2015, and then we had the election, and we had the set zero in 2019. So the CSD meeting in December reset all the resolutions that happened before 2019 and proposed the new SDG roadmap of Thailand. Prime Minister is still the chair, but he um, assigned General Pravit Wongsuwan to be the one who chair the committee. Secretary are the same, 4 subcommittees, and then in 2022, the CSD was restructured. So the disband the subcommittees supporting the driving and development of information system, and they added subcommittees for private sector and youth. So yeah, the one you see now is the one before the new ones. So we used to have the implementation subcommittee and the information system subcommittee, but now we don't have it. They were replaced by private sector and youth subcommittee, and they said the implementation and information system can be taken care of by the NESDC and the other system that runs the country reform and national strategy. Well, and we also have the Vienna committee added to the system of Committee for Sustainable Development. Okay, right now there are attempts to they have attempts for localization of the SDGs. So the NESDC had the provincial cluster development indicators published in 2021, and they started to align the indicators with the SDGs. But right now at the peace level, so they have like People, Prosperity, Planet, Peace Partnership, they have only 32 indicators, and you need to actually look into the indicators to understand what it means, because otherwise you will be confused. For example, peace, how is that possible that the three far south province has like the best conditions on peace, but then Rayong is the worst one, for example, and that you have to look into the indicators. Last year, they launched the project called the Strengthening SDG Localization in Thailand project, and implement the pilot program in 15 provinces like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Tak, Nakhon Ratchasima, Narathiwat, Pattani, Phetchaburi, Phuket, Mae Hong Son, Yala, Songkhla, Surat Thani, Udon Thani, and Ubon Ratchathani. And this project was in collaboration with Thailand Development Research Institute (TDRI), and yeah, they try to stock checking whether at the local level, I mean at the provincial level, they have indicators aligned with the global indicator framework or not, and then they and in the second phase, which is what they are doing right now, they are creating a guideline manual for the province to look for the right indicators and use them to evaluate the situation of the province, no? So that they can use that information to dictate their provincial development issues, no? So this is how they want to empower the provincial governor and the provincial office to use SDGs in their planning. So that's a good thing, but it will be not easy. It will not be easy. Okay, let me talk about one last thing. It's already 26 minutes, but let's just finish this part altogether, so then we can move on to the next one. So these are what Thailand has been doing within the country. What about our role on the global stage? Well, we join every important meetings. Like in 2023, Setha Thavisin, the Prime Minister, also participated in the SDG Summit, and he also gave a speech in that summit. Actually, I had a chance. I mean, the involved the stakeholders that have been working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had a chance to review the Prime Minister's speech as well. So that's good. So that he was speaking something that is like meaningful and relevant to the SDGs. So we also signed the political declaration of higher level political forum on sustainable development convened under the auspices of the General Assembly. So this is the declaration that that all countries reassure and reaffirm that they are still committed to the SDGs, and they also raise some important issues that we need to focus after this. For example, the Summit of the Future in 2024 and Finance for Development. We presented to VNR, as I mentioned, in 2017 and 2021. You can search for Thailand's VNR MFA, and it will lead you to the link of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I can also add that to you as well. And we were active at the ASEAN level, as mentioned earlier. So we collaborate with the we collaborated with the UNSCAP, and then we were integrated SDGs into the ASEAN Vision 2025. So the SDGs that is integrated into the ASEAN Vision, we call it the ASEAN complementarities. This is a term, the ASEAN complementarities. And we have the document called the complementarities roadmap. This is how the countries work together to achieve the complementarities initiative. So there are 5+1 issues that is integrated into the ASEAN Vision in the name of complementarities initiative. So the first one is poverty eradication. The second one is infrastructure and connectivity. The third one is sustainable management and natural resources. The fourth one, sustainable consumption and production. The fifth one is resilience, and the +1 is capacity building. Thailand also established the ASEAN Center for Sustainable Development Studies and Dialogue, and now it is, at this very moment, it is located at Mahidol Saraya campus. So there was some kind of the plan to deal with the COVID-19 and ASEAN framework, ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework, also a part of, also related to the SDGs, and also the BCG circular, the biocircular green economy model, which is aligned with the ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework, also a part of the things that related to SDGs. Okay. And last but not least, we have the SEP for SDG partnership, the Sufficiency Economy Philosophy for SDGs partnership. This is a partnership. This is a South-South collaboration. South means developing countries, North means developed countries. So South-South collaboration means collaboration between developing countries. And the fact that they said South is developing countries is due to the fact that, in general, developing countries are situated in the southern hemisphere, and the northern hemisphere right now they are developed countries. So we work with several countries, and some of them I believe you haven't heard the name before. But the cool thing is that the TICA, Thailand International Collaboration Agency, they sent Thai volunteer to the rural areas of these countries, and they instructed them to help these rural areas develop themselves using the principle of subsidy economy philosophy and uh, the late King Rama IX development principles. I think it can. I think it might work because it seems to be popular among developing countries as well. We had SEP study centers in international practice. We had SEP model villages. So yeah, they must somehow work in other countries as well. That is quite interesting. So this is our role on the global stage. So we did quite a lot of things on the SDGs at the global level. So that is all for this clip. Somehow I think my tongues are not working properly as I intended, so I apologize for any parts that I might not clearly explain, just like that. Or sometimes I mispronounce some words and I have to repronounce it again. I apologize for all of that. So that will be all for this clip. Please stay tuned for the next clip of this course. Thank you very much.